At the nightclub, amidst the revelry, a rival arms group led by Ali was present. Simultaneously, Clinton was also in attendance. Not for leisure, but on a clandestine mission. Abruptly, he ignited what seemed to be like an explosive device, prompting the guards to react and engage in a skirmish. Before long, chaos erupted as the device detonated, causing a panicked stampede among the clubgoers. Outside, Dante, Rich, and their associates lay in wait, armed and ready. They swiftly targeted Ali's team and even the bar waitress, unleashing a barrage of gunfire. Subsequently, Detective Jenkins and a contingent of law enforcement personnel arrived at the scene to commence their investigation, combining for evidence, including the discovery of a firearm. During the investigation, Detective Rogers arrived, presenting a distinctive firearm recovered from the scene and briefing Jenkins on the unfolding situation, which had resulted in 12 injuries and 6 fatalities. Statements were swiftly taken from witnesses and victims for identification purposes. Meanwhile, the club's proprietor requested a meeting with Detective Rogers, prompting his immediate attention. While en route, Detective Rogers monitored updates on the incident via the news and crime data feeds. Later, we witness Angel's release from prison. Engrossed in pursuing the post, the storyline then takes us back to a time when he became entangled in the illicit gun trade, orchestrated by his old associate, Rich. During their transactions, Ali purportedly offered Angel a similar quality of merchandise at a 30% discounted rate, although Rich and his associates cynically speculated it might actually be marked up to 50%. Rich meticulously showcased the products, demonstrating their capabilities, leading Angel to acknowledge the difficulty in procuring such items, but persisting in his selection process. In a pivotal moment, Angel proposed a substantial increase in quantity, envisioning a partnership that extended nationwide. Rich agreed to the proposition, stipulating a month's time frame for fulfillment before departing. Consequently, Angel secured a place to establish his operations, facilitated by an intermediary he had enlisted. Meanwhile, at the police station, Detective Rogers was engrossed in analyzing an ongoing case when Detective Jenkins arrived, bearing news of budget cuts that perturbed them, considering their workload amidst a shortage of resources. At Angel's residence, he listened to heartfelt voicemails from Lisa and Haley, stirring his emotions. Simultaneously, at the police station, ATF Agent Peterson and Agent Monroe arrived to collaborate on an investigation, following a directive from the mayor. Initially hesitant about ATF involvement in their operations, Detective Rogers eventually relented, recognizing the urgency of the situation and the need for additional support. They swiftly delved into briefing sessions and investigative work, acknowledging the value of time in their pursuit of justice. Detective Rogers provided a comprehensive briefing encompassing all available data, including details about the origin of the weapon recovered at the scene, highlighting the untouched serial numbers, the history of ownership, instances of transfer, and the associated criminal records. Furthermore, he outlined the motives behind Mr. Ali's murder. Meanwhile, after a smoke break, Angel headed to a local bar where he engaged in drinks. Inquiring about Clinton, he sought out the barmaid, Mona, who discreetly indicated his whereabouts. Along the way, Dante confronted Angel, who, upon questioning him about Clinton's identity, received a brusque response. In response, Angel retaliated physically, causing Dante to stumble. Rich intervened, recognizing Angel and diffusing the situation, tending to Dante's well-being. Subsequently, Angel reunited with Rich after a decade, with Clinton and Dante joining them. Recalling an incident from their past involving drug distribution and a violent encounter with law enforcement a decade prior, Rich recounted a narrative where they engaged in a gunfight with the police, managing to evade capture. Recognizing Rich tailing him, Angel offered his assistance, aiding Rich's escape by commandeering a car from the parking lot. Rich emphasized their shared disdain for law enforcement, transcending racial boundaries, fostering a sense of unity among them. Angel disclosed his quest for legitimate endeavors, prompting Rich to suggest potential avenues for him, but Angel politely declined any assistance. At one point, Clinton discreetly delivered a weapon concealed in a newspaper to Rich, who instructed him to dispose of it in the river once he was done, emphasizing that this service was complimentary. Grateful for the gesture, Angel expressed his thanks. Rich also extended an offer for the future collaborations to Angel, sparking envy in Clinton and Dante before he departed. Subsequently, Rich berated Dante for his previous altercation with Angel, highlighting his defeat. Meanwhile, Angel unwittingly became the subject of photographs taken by an observer, both leaving the bar and along his subsequent route. At home, he found solace in listening to a poignant voicemail once more. The following day at the bar, Gabriella was accosted by an individual seeking her attention until Rich intervened, intimidating the individual by placing a bullet in his drink, compelling him to depart in fear. Subsequently, they returned home and engaged in intimate relations. On the subsequent day, Detective Jenkins surveilled Rich until his arrival at the bar, where he engaged in a conversation with Rogans about the limitations of the justice system, lamenting their inability to take action without concrete evidence. Rich interjected, jesting at their predicament before departing for the bar, taunting Detective Rogans about his prolonged career before leaving. Clinton and Dante were dining in the bar when Rich joined them, preparing for his own meal, when he was abruptly approached by Angel, requesting a private conversation. In the secluded backyard, Rich inquired about the matter at hand, assuring Angel of his assistance if needed. Angel, aligning himself with their group, received a call summoning Rich, leading them outside, where Dante harbored apparent animosity towards Angel. Rich intervened, pacifying Dante and extending a warm welcome to Angel, integrating him into their team. During their journey, they delved into discussions about the changing dynamics of the past years and their current circumstances. Rich briefed Angel on the intricacies of their operation, including the acquisition and functionality of stolen weapons, along with the regulatory challenges posted by the government. Upon reaching their destination, Dante questioned the rationale behind bringing Angel to the secluded storage area. Rich placated Dante and proceeded to showcase their arsenal. Observing the cache hidden in the heart of the city and noting the military-grade equipment, Angel marveled at Rich's extensive network. However, Rich emphasized the importance of discretion over grandeur, emphasizing the presence of eager buyers. As they settled into Rich's car, he discreetly handed Angel a firearm tucked beneath the seat, signaling the commencement of their mission. En route, they discussed the details of the task ahead, preparing themselves for the journey ahead. Upon arrival, Rich explained to Angel that he had obtained the weapon through a former associate with whom he had engaged in drug trafficking. After a period of waiting and assuming their positions, the buyers' vehicles arrived, following a meticulously security check by the guards. The boss emerged from the car and engaged in a conversation with Rich. Initially disgruntled by their presence, the boss requested to inspect the weapon, expressing approval after a thorough examination. Returning to the car to retrieve the cache, a sudden altercation ensued, prompting Angel to alert the others. In a chaotic exchange of gunfire, they managed to eliminate all threats, with Rich swiftly seizing the bag from the car before instructing Dante and Clinton to handle their vehicle. During their journey back, Rich and Angel shared a car, with Rich jubilant and overwhelmed by their successful endeavor in reclaiming the weapons and the substantial sum of money. Expressing his gratitude, Rich commended Angel for his performance, affirming that his inclusion had been the correct decision. Upon reaching their premises, Rich distributed the cash, allocating double shares to Angel and accounting for Dante's portion as well. The distribution incited Dante's protest, swiftly quelled by Rich's pointed firearm. Reluctantly agreeing, Dante complied with the arrangement, and they all returned home. Back at home, Rich attended to his personal hygiene while his partner monitored his activities. Meanwhile, Angel attempted to contact Lisa, albeit unsuccessfully, highlighting his persistence in reaching out despite the challenges. The following day, detectives arrived at the scene of the recent deaths, contemplating the installation of a security camera to aid in capturing potential evidence, acknowledging the complexity of their task as they pressed forward with their investigation. Meanwhile, the team engaged in revelry and socializing at the bar, accompanied by women, as Dante regaled the group with anecdotes of their childhood conflicts, with Clinton joining in. Amidst the merriment, Rich shared a meaningful glance with Gabriella, prompting him to approach her. Angel inquired about Gabriella's identity, only to be rebuffed by Clinton's disrespectful attitude, leading Angel to excuse himself to the restroom, where he observed Rich and Gabriella engaging in a secretive conversation. During their interaction, Gabriella admonished Rich, cautioning him about potential police scrutiny and the presence of incriminating records, despite Rich's protestations of innocence, before departing. Simultaneously, at the police station, detectives delved into Rich's background alongside members of the ATF, recognizing his potential as a crucial informant. However, a disagreement arose within the ATF team, questioning the value of pursuing Rich as a lead. In a different location, Rich and his associates subjected a man who had aided them in cleaning their operations to a brutal interrogation, with Rich administering severe beatings. In a startling turn of events, Angel intervened, fatally shooting the man. Rich, exhilarated by the outcome, commended Angel's actions, emphasizing his prowess and instructing the team to glean insights from Angel's decisive move. Subsequently, Rich departed, leaving them to manage the aftermath as he exited with Angel. Detective Rogans engaged in firearm training, a routine mirrored by Rich in another location, where they not only loaded weapons, but also engaged in recreational activities. Rich encountered Gabriella, who informed him that she had heard about his involvement in past gun-related crimes through sources within law enforcement, suspecting that the information might have come from someone in his inner circle. It became evident that she was a journalist, and they delved into discussions regarding the illicit gun trade. Subsequently, she kissed him and departed. Meanwhile, Angel pursued a lead from a document, leading him to room 703. A flashback revealed that he had been released from prison to act as an informant, his motivation stemming from the tragic death of his wife due to the illegal arms industry. Confronted with inquiries, Angel chose to remain silent until his daughter was threatened, prompting him to divulge details about a storage location before departing. Tensions escalated within the ATF, while Angel, at home, replayed a voicemail. Shortly after, he received a call from Rich, arranging a meeting at a warehouse. Angel complied, meeting Rich, who interrogated him aggressively about potentially sensitive information. Feeling threatened, Angel discreetly armed himself, concealing the weapon beneath his jacket. Rich proceeded to share intimate details of his childhood traumas, bonding with Alex and designated him as a trusted confidant before initiating firearm training. Concurrently, the reporter who conversed with Rich pitched a proposal to her affluent superior, suggesting the sale of advanced weaponry. However, her boss hesitated, expressing concerns about Rich's credibility, speculating that he might merely be a criminal peddling firearms. The following day, ATF teams descended upon the location, but found nothing, leading to frustration and shouting directed at the detective. Feeling deceived, the detective phoned Angel, venting his anger and granting him only until sunset to rectify the situation, unaware of Rich's presence. Fortunately, Angel, preoccupied, missed the call, and Rich then instructed him to rendezvous while bringing the weapons before departing. Later that day, they convened, unaware of Angel's betrayal and the surveillance of law enforcement. The boss acquainted himself with Rich, presenting a van brimming with firearms. After offering Rich a gun to inspect, Rich swiftly agreed to the purchase, just as the police initiated an attack. In the ensuing skirmish, Rich sustained a gunshot wound. Angel intervened, rescuing Rich, but in a private moment, turned on him, aiming his weapon. Rich grasped the truth. Angel had been the informant all along. Angel disclosed that the cocktail waitress killed in a prior raid was his spouse. Rich, unfazed, drew parallels, asserting that Angel, like himself, was a killer, emphasizing the humanity of those Angel had slain. Meanwhile, Clinton and Dante engaged in a futile struggle against the police, resulting in their being shot. Overcome with emotion, Angel raised his weapon, but before he could act, a police agent fired, saving Rich. Time elapsed, revealing Angel navigating a corridor with his arm in a sling, reuniting with his daughter. Simultaneously, the police agent entered his office, declining to comment on Rich's plea deal. Finally, Rich walked towards his cell in restraints, gazing up through the cell bars. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.